Welcome to ShiftOS Byte-sized update number 2. So right now, if you're looking at the github.com page for the project, yes, I still haven't released 0.0.1 just yet. But there are several developments over the past, 2 weeks, or 3, depending on your, depending on your definition. Around 2 to 3 weeks. So in the master branch, there hasn't been any development, but if we take a look at the quick phase stage, there are many under the hood changes, but it is only visible if you clone the project or fork the project by yourself. So before we get into it, I just want to make sure that if you want to get updated everything around ShiftOS, you can check out the ShiftOS Discord server. Yes, there hasn't been any update in the Discord server. There hasn't been any chat or something, but this is the chance for you to discuss anything about ShiftOS, any suggestion, any feature requests, any bug reports, and anything beside from GitHub. This is the central page that we're gonna get into for everything around ShiftOS. Alright, so closing this github.com page, and right now there's not much changes from this first site, but yes, ShiftOS is now exclusively only available to x64 architecture. Yes, I know, I deprecated x86, but previous version of ShiftOS is x86, but over the past, consideration, I am trying to move to x64 in order to unlock more potentials and unlock more storage, the capabilities of what ShiftOS will be once it reaches at least 0.0.1. And right now, it is going to be 0.0.1 build 5. It is still not the official 0.0.1 yet, but it is a development build. And if we take a look at the VB Proj, there it is, 0.0.1 build 5. And if you want to try that yourself, like anything that I've been coding in ShiftOS, you're gonna check out ShiftOS GitHub page, okay? So there's gonna be updated things, but I'm gonna get into what things that I am having over the past few days. Alright, so if we take a look at the ShiftOS arrival, and I'm gonna debug it so you're gonna see what has been cooking in ShiftOS. Alright, so the form has been there, and yeah, it's still the same, but if we take a look at future menu, and yes, it is the build 0.0.1.5. So if previously we got sound, but there is something still missing. About this hasn't been in there for ages, but right now I am having a little bit of a dummy about page because I still really didn't have much plan over what's going to be in about, aside from putting the names and the project info. Yeah, everything's still empty in here, and yeah, the button is still okay, like the stock Windows one, not the custom built ShiftOS that will going to be inspired by the ShiftOS C# version. Okay, and right now, if we're gonna go to start game, yes, we're gonna go full screen, and here we have some things changes. There are going to be what do you want to call it? There are going to be logs of boot process in here. I mean, there is still not much in here beside from if the OS, like the quote-unquote OS, is on the code boot progress or the reboot progress. And Shortcut Tracker, this is new in 0.0.1 build 4, and it is going to be further developed in 0.0.1 build 5. So if we're gonna go to let's just say Control F, there it is, a shortcut has been detected. So this is going to be in use for later, such as the shortcut for making text bold, making text italic or underlined, or making shortcuts such as copy, paste, and cut. And all those stuff are not going to be handled by the WinForms in general, but I'm going to redirect the the shortcut tracker into the ShiftOS kernel. So for now, there hasn't been much changes aside from those Control F. And if we're gonna go to Control Alt and A, SecureType activated. And SecureType is also a design, like a technology that I'm developed in ShiftOS. And well, in ShiftOS C Sharp, the what do you want to call it, the micro version, there hasn't been really implementation of making a password look like password, although it follows the same like look as in Arch Linux, which whenever we type any passwords, it doesn't show any password. It's just blank. It doesn't show any output. But in ShiftOS the revival, I'm going to implement the way that every time I type, such as there you see, that one, every single character is going to be replaced by an asterisk. But don't worry, because the system is going to store the typed security, like password or passphrase or whatever the type it is, or pin that can also be a thing. But the procedure to obfuscate, or whatever you want to call it, the procedure to scramble the password to make it secure, it is still going to be implemented in the future, not just at this very moment. But when I press enter, the secure type you entered this is the one. That goes to show that the secure type procedure is going as intended. And if I'm going to press Control Alt Shift and delete, I think. There we go. So this is going to be something that is going to be foundational for ShiftOS. So the shortcut for Control Alt Delete in ShiftOS is Control Alt Shift and Delete. That'll reboot the whole OS. Although this in the surface, in the front end, there hasn't really been much changes in here, but we'll get to the code later on. So right now, it identifies that reboot is initiated, not code boot is initiated, because there is a sign that is going to check either if the OS is going through a code boot or reboot. And from here, the debug thing, there are so many like functions or procedures that is available in the debug version. But if we want to take a look at the non-debugged version, there hasn't really been much changes within the ShiftOS, because, well, the look is still the same as before, aside from these things. And you can still delete all those, because I still haven't implemented the read-only thing. And to be fair, the secure type procedure is still having a bit of a bug, because whenever I type like this, and let's say if I want to delete 2 characters, because, never mind, I typed the wrong password. Okay, I removed 2, and if I press enter, there it is. There's still a bug in the procedure that whenever I removed a character, the asterisk is registered as part of the string. So yeah, there is still something that needs to be fixed. But right now, okay, if I close it properly, there are some changes. Like, if we take a look at the console main, so in here, like Cold Boot OS, there we see Cold Boot progress for ShiftOS. If we're gonna redirect ourselves to Boot OS, the procedure is there. If the console has been opened, then nothing. But if it hasn't, then, well, show it. And of course, to clear the console and to identify that is Cold Boot okay or not. If it's okay, then it will show Cold Boot has been initiated, or if not, then, well, reboot is initiated. And there we go, we're initializing the shortcut tracker. So, well, the current issue that I have with shortcut tracker is that it only applies to console so far. But, well, since phase 1 is all about, like, just console and no interface has been implemented just yet, so nothing really goes big of an issue. But in the future, I think there will be an issue, because how can I detect universally applicable shortcut such as Control Alt Shift Delete? That shortcut is going to be important for ShiftOS in order to reboot the whole OS, you know? I don't know how can I do that just yet, because I still resurfaced myself into Visual Basic.NET. But anyway, that's going to be for later. And another under the hood changes is the Set Console app. This is for identifying what application is using console currently. Because it is code boot, it only shows terminal. But whenever, let's just say if we have guest number, or knowledge input, or like Pong, or whatever, that will change the console app to another name. And there we see, it's debug properties. Oh my gosh. So the console debug properties, like LBL current console app, that is going to be for about this, I think. Yeah, LBL current console app. That's going to be the debug function for identifying which application is using the console. And it is still not being developed, like how I still develop the core engine for, well, the core kernel of ShiftOS at this very moment. And that's just all update that I have developed over the past around 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, so bear with me. I am still busy in college, so development is still going to be slow, and 0.0.1 is likely going to be released either later this year, such as in November or December. And, well, I have no plans to rush this development, but I am going to fully optimize the ShiftOS in order to make it more environmentally friendly, as I would say in the last Byte-sized update, in order to make me understand the full comprehension of my own code, because I don't want to, whenever I code ShiftOS, I don't want to say that I don't understand what code that I'm coding. So right now, sit back and relax while ShiftOS is still being developed. And this is going to be ShiftOS 0.0.1 build 5 that is going to be released around, going to be built around like early October. That's gonna be my set date around my schedule right here. But okay, in the meantime, if you want to see more development of ShiftOS, be sure to join the ShiftOS Development Hub Discord server. The link will be in the description, and everything around ShiftOS is going to be linked right there. And I'll see you guys in the next bite-sized update of ShiftOS. See ya!